My fiancé said, "My parents think you're not good enough. We need a break." I calmly replied, "I understand." Then I cashed out my share from the joint account we were using for the wedding she'd already secretly canceled. Her break became permanent and expensive. I'm 32 male. Until 3 weeks ago, I was marrying Nicole, 29F, next spring. 4 years together, save the dates out, impressive venue booked, her dream mostly. Her parents, Stephen and Angela Hawthorne, were always present, hovering. I always got the vibe they thought Nicole was settling with me, a project manager, not old money like them. It unraveled on a rainy Tuesday. Cliché, Nicole came over, "We need to talk." Her eyes did that shifty thing. "My parents, they're worried I'm rushing into things," she began, twisting her ring. "They think maybe you're not quite established enough for the life they envision. Not good enough, after 4 years and her pushing for this big wedding." "So what are you saying, Nicole?" I kept my voice even. "I think we need a break," she said, "to reevaluate. For me to think. For you to consider what they're saying." A break. Weeks before final deposits. After I'd poured a significant 5-figure sum, my savings, into our joint wedding account. My $30,000 was in. Her $30,000 was also in the account. Whether from her own earnings or entirely bankrolled by her parents, I didn't focus on then, but the full sum was present, matching mine. About $60,000 total. Something felt off, rehearsed. "I understand," I said. She looked surprised. "Expected a scene, I guess." "Yeah. If you need space, you need space," I shrugged. "How long? A few weeks? A month? Just space." "All right." She left. The apartment felt huge. An hour of numbness, then cold, methodical anger. Her words, "not good enough." Her demeanor, relieved. The timing, suspicious. A nasty little voice, "check the venue." Next morning, I called the coordinator, Brenda. Pretext, menu detail. "Oh, Mr. Davies," she hesitated. "Actually, Nicole called late Monday afternoon. She canceled the booking." Monday, the day before the break talk. "Canceled?" I kept my voice light. "Reschedule?" "No. Full cancellation. Unforeseen circumstances," she said. "The initial $10,000 deposit is non-refundable, of course." That deposit came from our joint account, our $60. So the break was theater. The wedding was already dead, by her hand. I logged into online banking. Joint account, $50,000 remaining. My $30K contribution, her $30K, minus the lost $10 deposit. My half of that remaining $50K was $25,000. It was my money. For a wedding she'd secretly killed. I transferred my $25,000 out. Clean. Then I texted her, "Nicole, just found out from the venue you canceled everything on Monday. Before our talk. So the break is permanent. I take it. I've withdrawn my share of the remaining funds from the wedding account. Seems fair since there's no wedding. Hope you find whatever it is you're looking for." Blocked her. Her parents. Her best friend Amy. Sometimes, understanding is a very expensive lesson for someone else. Update 1. A week since the text. The silence didn't last. Blocking is merely a suggestion these days. Thursday morning, voicemail from an unknown number. "Nicole. Angry, not sad. Justin, what on earth do you think you're doing? You took money from our wedding account. You can't just do that. Call me immediately." Our wedding, the one she canceled. Delusional. Didn't call. Emails followed. From Nicole. Urgent, financial error. You've made a huge mistake. Gist. I'd stolen from her. I was petty, ruining her. The break wasn't a breakup, a likely story. Her parents were disgusted. Return her money. My $25K magically became her money. She waffled about the venue cancellation being not finalized when she realized I knew. "Lady, full cancellation is pretty final." Then Angela, Nicole's mother, got my work email. Masterpiece of passive aggression. "Justin, Nicole is distraught. While we expressed minor reservations, your actions have been disproportionate and cruel. You have taken funds earmarked for deposits. Nicole is now in a terrible position. As a gentleman, you should rectify this oversight at once." Rectify this oversight. Love that. As if I accidentally tripped and my money fell out of her account. The $10K venue deposit was already gone. $5K to mine, $5K hers. My withdrawal of $25K from the remaining $50K left her with her exact $25. Math. It's not that hard. My one reply to Angela CCing Nicole. "Dear Angela, Nicole canceled the wedding venue on Monday, October 9th, before informing me she wanted a break. The funds were for that wedding. No wedding, so I reclaimed my portion. Nicole has her full contribution. Any further commitments are her own. Matter closed. Red flag to a bull, apparently. Weekend barrage, missed calls, frantic emails. Nicole, the caterer needs their deposit. The photographer, I paid some of that from my personal account, assuming the joint money was there. You owe me. Her claims about these other vendor payments, supposedly made from her personal account, gave me pause. If true, the timing would be crucial. More things to verify, I supposed. Her brother Brandon, 31M, messaged me on a professional networking site. Justin, man, what's your deal? Nicole's a mess. Mom and Dad are concerned. Give her the money back. Be the bigger person. It's just money. It's just money. Easy for him to say. The bigger person doesn't lie or secretly cancel weddings. Saturday night, looking at an old photo, we were happy, felt like a fool, a flash of regret. Then I remembered not good enough. The calm returned. This is about facts, not emotion. She made choices. She's facing the price tag. Her break is permanent and expensive. Good. Update 2 a few weeks later, the temperature's up. Not by me. I'm still Switzerland. Cool, calm, and collecting receipts. Nicole and the Hawthorns, Stephen, Angela, and Brandon as attack dog have doubled down. It's almost impressive. Dirty tricks. Social media vague booking. Nicole's sad, cryptic posts. Trust betrayed, picking up pieces. Amy, her friend, cheering her on. He never appreciated you. Annoying, but ultimately hot air. The shared items gambit. Nicole emailed a demand list for items from my apartment. Some gifts from her, fair enough. But then my stuff bought pre-Nicole. Sound system, art, logic. We enjoyed them together. No, that's not how ownership works. She also demanded some kitchen gadgets that were wedding shower gifts sent to my address from my relatives, clearly intending them for herself rather than for return to the givers. The audacity. The financial fog machine. This is the big one. She's now claiming she fronted thousands for various wedding things, dress alterations, deposits for smaller vendors, from her personal accounts, with the understanding she'd be reimbursed from the joint wedding fund. As I looked into it, I found she had produced some invoices. The problem? I never agreed to reimburse her for personal wedding attire from the joint fund. Her dress was her dress. My suit was my suit. Those deposits she was claiming? I discovered some of them were dated after she canceled the main venue. So she canceled the wedding, then continued to spend money on… what exactly? A phantom wedding? Or was she hoping I wouldn't find out about the big cancellation? She's also demanding I pay half the cancellation fees for vendors she booked and she canceled, including the main venue's $10K non-refundable deposit. She conveniently forgets that $5 of that lost deposit was my money already. She wants me to pay another $5, so she's whole and I'm out $10. The math of the truly entitled is a special kind of creative accounting. Her parents are backing her. Angela called my mother. My mom listened, then basically said, Angela, it sounds like Nicole made some decisions without consulting Justin and is now upset about the consequences. Justin is a grown man, and frankly, from what he's told me, his actions seem perfectly reasonable. That conversation ended quickly. Go, Mom. Brandon leaves sanctimonious voicemails. You're really showing your true colors, Justin. This isn't how a man behaves. You're leaving Nicole high and dry over a misunderstanding. A secret wedding cancellation is a misunderstanding? Okay, buddy. My response to all this? Documentation. Every email, voicemail, transcribe the important bits, every text message from before the break, my own bank statements proving my wedding purchases, confirmed with vendors I dealt with that no contracts were solely my responsibility. Quick chat with a lawyer, showed him the timeline, the joint account agreement. It was a simple one, thankfully, just stating funds for mutual wedding costs, proof of my contribution, and Nicole's venue cancellation confirmation. His take? I'm in the clear. The money I took was verifiably mine, intended for a purpose she unilaterally nullified. Her subsequent spending or cancellation fees are her problem. He said, she's trying to bully you. Don't let her. Good advice. The expensive part for Nicole is already happening. She's on the hook for several non-refundable deposits she paid after canceling the main venue but before the break talk, thinking, I guess, that she could still salvage some of it or pin it on me. The photographer, the fancy cake lady, the string quartet she absolutely had to have for the non-existent ceremony. Those vendors want their cancellation fees. And they're looking at her, not me. I haven't been aggressive. I haven't slandered her, I've just stepped aside. Pulled my support, pulled my money. It's fascinating, really. How quickly we and us became you owe me when the free ride ended. My resolve is solid. She wanted a break, she got one, a permanent, financially inconvenient one. The not good enough comment still stings sometimes late at night. But then I look at the growing file of her increasingly unhinged demands and I think, yeah, I'm good enough to not put up with this. Update 3. Well, Merry almost Christmas, everyone. Or, if you're Nicole Hawthorne, probably not so merry. The last month has been enlightening. The entitlement reached its crescendo, and then finally, the music started to fade. For them, anyway. For me, it's been a period of calm, firm lines in the sand. So, the dirty tricks continued for a bit, then sputtered out. Nicole, through her father Stephen this time, actually had a lawyer send me a letter. It was full of bluster. Misappropriation of joint marital funds. We weren't married. Emotional distress, breach of promise, to marry, the one she called off. It demanded I return the $25,000 I withdrew, plus an additional $15,000 to cover her losses from canceled vendors and damages. So, $40. Ridiculous. My lawyer, yes, I retained the one I consulted just to be safe, sent back a very polite, very factual 2-page response. It included a clear timeline of events with copies of the venue cancellation confirmation, time-stamped before her break speech. Bank statements showing my $30 deposit into the wedding account and my $25 withdrawal, leaving her precise initial investment intact after the venue's non-refundable deposit was paid from the total. A gentle reminder that any contracts with other vendors were entered into by Nicole, and any cancellation fees were her responsibility, especially those incurred after she'd already secretly canceled the primary wedding arrangement. A firm statement that there was no legal basis for her claims, and any further attempts to pursue this would be met with a counterclaim for harassment. We never heard from their lawyer again. I guess even he realized he couldn't polish that particular situation. Stephen Hawthorne probably wasn't too happy about paying legal fees for that dud. The social media vague booking also fizzled. I think some of her friends, maybe even Amy, started to piece things together or just got bored of the drama. When your sob story doesn't result in cash, people lose interest. Then came the final, somewhat pathetic confrontations. Nicole managed to get me on the phone, unblocked her for a day out of a weird sense of curiosity. Big mistake. Or maybe not. It was clarifying. "Justin, you've ruined everything," she wailed. No preamble, just straight to the victim act. "I'm in so much debt, those vendors are hounding me. My parents are furious. This is all your fault." "My fault, Nicole?" I kept my voice level. "Who canceled the wedding venues secretly? I was under pressure. My parents, I was confused. But you didn't have to be so vindictive, so cruel, taking all that money. It was my money, Nicole, my share. For a wedding you decided wasn't happening. What did you expect me to do? Let you spend it on your solo life? But the deposits, the commitments, a real man would have covered those for me, to be a gentleman." There it was again. The gentleman card. "A real man," I said, "wouldn't have been lied to and manipulated. A gentleman, by your definition, sounds like a doormat with a bank account, Nicole. And I'm not that." She started crying then, or making crying noises. "You don't understand how much this has cost me." "Oh, I think I do," I said. "It's cost you exactly what your choices have incurred. That's called responsibility." Then I said, "I hope you figure things out, Nicole. Goodbye." And I hung up, blocked her again, for good this time. A week later, Brandon the brother tried an ambush, saw me at a coffee shop I frequent. He strode over, all puffed up. "Justin, we need to talk about what you've done to my sister." "Brandon," I said, not even looking up from my laptop. "There's nothing to discuss. Your sister made choices. She's living with them. I suggest you and your parents help her sort out her finances, since you were also instrumental in her decisions." "She's your fiancée. Or was. You have a moral obligation," he blustered, voice rising. People were starting to look. "No, Brandon, I don't. My only obligation was to a partnership, and she dissolved that without telling me. The only thing I did to your sister was refuse to pay for her mistakes." "Excuse me." I got up and left. He looked like he was about to explode. Let him. The fallout for Nicole, from what I've pieced together from the edges of our now severed social circles, has been significant. The thousands she claimed to have fronted for various wedding bits and pieces? Turns out, many of those were put on a credit card. Her credit card, with a hefty interest rate. The vendors she ghosted after canceling? Some of them were small businesses. They pursued their cancellation fees, as they should. The pressure from her parents is apparently immense, not in a supportive way, but in an Angela is mortified by this public failure and Stephen hates wasting money kind of way. They're probably helping her financially, but I guarantee it comes with a lifetime supply of, "I told you so," and "How could you be so foolish?" Her grand vision of a perfect wedding, likely bankrolled by a combination of my savings and her parents' desire for status, imploded. And she's left holding the bag for all the pieces she tried to keep juggling after she'd already dropped the main one. I did get one final, unexpected email. From Amy, Nicole's best friend. "Justin, I know I was pretty awful in some of my comments. I only heard Nicole's side, and she was very convincing. I've started to see things a bit differently. She's a mess, and honestly, she's not taking much responsibility. Just wanted to say, I get it now. Sorry." Didn't reply to that either. But it was something. So the revenge, it wasn't loud, it wasn't explosive. It was just me, calmly stepping out of the line of fire and letting the shrapnel from her own grenade hit her. She wanted a break, thought I wasn't good enough. Fine. She got to see what good enough for her parents' standards would actually cost when my contribution was removed from the equation. It was expensive. Very. Final update. It's been nearly 5 months since that last phone call with Nicole, and about 7 since my world tilted on its axis. Figured I owed a final update to those who followed this mess. Life moves on. It's quieter now. The anger has mostly faded, replaced by a kind of weary pragmatism. I don't rejoice in Nicole's financial struggles, but I don't lose sleep over them either. She built that bed, she's sleeping in it. From what little I hear through the grapevine, it's a small world, even when you try to shrink yours. Nicole is still dealing with the financial fallout. She had to move back in with Stephen and Angela for a while to save money, which I imagine is its own special kind of hell for all involved. The dream wedding debt is apparently a sore subject. She's working, but those vendor cancellations and perhaps some ill-advised spending in the immediate aftermath of our split hit her hard. There's no talk of her dating anyone new. I suspect her confidence, and perhaps her parents' willingness to fund another social experiment, took a beating. Angela and Stephen Hawthorne are, from all accounts, back to their usual selves, probably lamenting their daughter's choices and subtly, or not so subtly, blaming everyone but themselves for their part in pressuring her. Brandon, I've heard, still thinks I'm a villain, but his opinion matters less to me than the price of coffee. As for me, the $25,000 I'd withdrawn from the joint account in the very beginning went straight back into my savings where it belonged. I kept the engagement ring, it's in a safe deposit box. Maybe one day I'll sell it, or maybe it'll just be a very expensive reminder. Haven't decided. The "not good enough" line still echoes sometimes, usually when I'm tired or a sad song comes on the radio. It's a scar, I guess. It made me reevaluate a few things, made me more cautious. Trust is a fragile thing, easily broken, harder to rebuild. I've been on a few dates, nothing serious. I'm not in a rush. There was no dramatic courtroom showdown, no public shaming, beyond what she brought on herself. My revenge, if you can call it that, was simply to hold her accountable to her own actions. I didn't stoop to her level. I didn't engage in mudslinging. I just stated facts, protected my assets, and walked away. Her entitlement, her lies, and her parents' snobbery created a perfect storm, and all I did was refuse to be its funding source. The most satisfying part? Knowing I handled it with a calm I didn't know I possessed, that I didn't let them break me down or manipulate me further. The moral justification was always clear. She lied, she deceived, she tried to make me pay for it. I simply said no. So yeah, life isn't a fairy tale. Sometimes the princess reveals herself to be more interested in the royal treasury than the prince. And sometimes the not good enough guy turns out to be good enough to see through the deception and walk away with his dignity and his savings intact. It's not a happy ending in the traditional sense. A 4-year relationship ended in a pretty ugly way. But it's a real ending, and I'm okay. I'm moving forward. That, in itself, feels like a victory. Thanks for listening.